Good evening and welcome to Inside Rebel Football. I'm Stanley Dupuy, joined with Coach Jerry Arledge. And Coach, again, what an outstanding game I thought the Rebels played Friday night against Ash.
Well, I think our players were extremely motivated. When you look back to last year and the way the season ended, we go down and they beat us and keep us from advancing to the finals.
Right.
And it's easy to motivate kids when and a whole lot of them are remembered that that last game last year.
Coach, you told me last week at the end of this segment of Inside Rebel Football, you told me that we had a great week of practice in preparation for Ash, and you really thought we'd see a different team on the field Friday night. And I got to tell you, we saw a team that we haven't seen all year long, the way they played, the level of play, and you were correct on that. And,
Well,
talk about that.
well, to me, that's what you hope will happen. That when the guys have their backs to the wall in the first district first district ball game, which means an awful lot to
Right.
us. Someone told me, you or Rick or someone, that last Friday night was 99 in a row.
That's
We
correct.
were playing for that number 99.
Us radio guys got to keep up things to talk about. I know you coaches don't like to hear that, but when we're on the radio, we like talking about
Well,
that.
I tell you all the time, there's only one stat that's important, and that's winning and losing.
That's it. That's it.
That's a final stat.
Coach, I thought in the Ash game again, and I had a chance, had Jadis Richard on, obviously tonight, and Jack DeBrule, two of your starting secondary guys who've done a really good job for you this year.
Yes, they have.
But I really thought a couple of things I want you to really talk about. I thought defensive line, offensive line, we were the more physical team that night against Ash.
Well, that's certainly one of the things that we tried to achieve during the last week's practice, and we actually put the pants on. That means thigh pads and knee pads,
Right.
and the kids know by now. Hey, we're fixing to go. We're gonna. It's gonna be wide open
And a lot of hitting.
and a lot of hitting, and we had a couple of those days last week, and I mean the amazing thing about one day the offense will win,
Right.
and we had competition going on.
Right.
And then the next day, that other group, whichever one, they alternate days.
Right.
Offense will win one day, defense will win the next day.
Right.
And it's amazing how they motivate themselves by the group. Hey, we got to do better than we did yesterday.
Right.
Let's go win it.
Right. The other thing I thought was key, and it's kind of has been key all season long, is to play not only from your linebackers, but to play from your secondary. Chauncey Lee and Tag Banks have just been racking up tackles and all over the field everywhere. But I also thought in the secondary, teams may try to throw on us, and they may throw on us some, but it seems like they realize that secondary is providing such good coverage, and we're getting pressure by that front that they kind of abandon the passing, so to speak, and stick to more screens and shorter running the football type plays.
Well, that we felt like coming into this season that our strong suit on defense would be the secondary.
Right.
Of course, Rayshon Pleasant, who in the spring we moved to running back, he's already committed to Louisiana Tech
Right.
as a defensive back, as a corner, and he's a very good one.
Right.
And so we have some depth there. We can bring him back
If you need
whenever
to.
whenever he's needed,
Right.
if need be. But to me, the guy that was so impressive that last Friday night was Jadis Richard.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's making tackles coming downhill, wide open from the free safety position. Had great play on special teams,
right. Lots of
interception,
field goal.
and I think he tied with Chauncey Lee
Wow.
in number of
Wow.
tackles.
Wow. And you're right. He had an interception. He had a blocked field goal.
That's right.
He had a hit on a kickoff that caused the fumble.
Caused the fumble.
And
Recovered a fumble on a
recovered
kickoff,
a fumble on a kickoff too,
Yes.
and on the other kickoff.
Yes.
And he also, like you said, gave run support, from the secondary position.
Yes, he did, and I mean he was ultra aggressive,
Right.
and that's what you want out of your free safety.
Right.
But as long as you can still defend against the pass, and he did a great job of doing that.
I
But
got
talking about linebackers, that's what a linebacker's job is to go make tackles. We're constantly trying to eat up as many blocks, and I mean, when I say eat up, our front our front four guys have to be good enough that to run the football they have to be double teamed, and that when you get one or two players eating up or utilizing two blocks, then somebody's going to be free. And our backers are doing a great job of making tackles.
And it seems like your defensive front is getting better each game, and I know that's what you want to, but 2 quarterback sacks by Jackson Snow and 2 quarterback sacks by Brock Harvey Friday night, and 4 quarterback sacks in a game I think is really, really big.
Yes, it is. It is big, and it kind of helps that quarterback getting the ball out of his hand a little bit quicker sometimes.
Especially if he knows where those guys lined up
yeah.
and just sack
Yeah.
me. The Rebel defense, you told me in the very beginning we're going to be a little thin up front on the defensive front as far as you like to play 6, 7 in a rotation, and you were just still trying to find those guys, but Ziegler and Killian and those guys have just really, to me, have just gotten better and more aggressive as the season goes on.
Well, they have, and Brock was a good defensive end last year.
Right.
He's much better this year. Then we have Wyatt Bagwell, who has come around and
Right.
is beginning to play very good at the other end. And Richard Killian, we work him at end and tackle.
Right.
And most of the time he starts inside at a tackle position. And then Jackson Snow, is just he and
Little sophomore you got.
he's little old bitty sophomore.
Yeah, and he's played it extremely well himself.
Yes, he has.
Coach, I know you had a chance to look at the film, and this is the last question I'll ask you about Ash. And looking at that and watching the game, did you really feel like that maybe even though Ash was bigger than we were on an offensive line standpoint, I know I said we agreed that we're more physical. Did you really feel like they were not expecting us to be as physical as we were against them? It just seemed like we whipped them and got through there more easier than probably kind of like Ash didn't think we were that good to me going in, and we just took it to them.
Well, who had they played other than St. Thomas More?
Right.
And you can get lulled to sleep sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how good St. Thomas More is. They're usually a pretty good football team.
Right.
But some of the other people, I don't think the teams that Ash had played, I don't think they compare to Catholic High, maybe to Woodlawn, and
Right.
certainly Neville.
Right.
Those are three
Absolutely.
pretty aggressive football teams.
Absolutely.
And if I remember right, Woodlawn last week played within a touchdown of Zachary.
They sure did.
Yeah.
They sure did. All right, we're going to take a timeout, pay some bills, and we'll be back to have the offensive players here with Coach Glenn Hunt. We'll be back right after this timeout.